intoxication, bung, whiskey, everything which makes the mind go crooked, that destroys austerity. A person who is a drug addict, he can even let his own mother sit at home crying, and he don't care. True or not? Yeah. What in India is the most holy to a man?
To take care of the parents.
His mother, his parent. So if intoxication can destroy the responsible feeling for your father and mother, what more need to be said? Austerity is finished if there's intoxication in a widespread fashion. And number last, cleanliness. What destroys cleanliness? You see, the implications are much more vaster than just routine things. It's a vast extension of our lifestyle. The reason we have no Dharma is because we are breaking Dharma to pieces. Because our heart requests us for Dharma. Everybody's heart. So, what destroys cleanliness?
Man's thinking? Human's thinking?
Human's
thoughts?
thinking? No.
Irresponsible behavior.
No. Concrete, the scriptures. I'm not speculating, I'm presenting as the Dharma scriptures have given, no? What destroys cleanliness? Clean behavior, clean words, clean thoughts is illicit sexual relationships. Promiscuity, abortion, pornography. All these things destroy the cleanliness of the mind of a human being and leaves him in dirt. So what's in a Western society? Marriage is finished. Marriage is just a name. Maybe to get the inheritance or something, but not because people really want to take, like you said, responsibility. It's true, but it is actually illicit sexual relationships. Where they start, cleanliness is finished. Like they say, I love you to one woman, and next week they say the same thing to another one, and they take the AIDS from one and give it to the other, right? So instead of loving, they're killing. Huh? That's what Dharma is, the current situation. Then you can understand why we need a spiritual revolution. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he knew all that. And he said, therefore we have to get the people in this world to chant the names of God. Doesn't matter whether they chant Vishnu or Narashinka or Rama or Krishna, or whether they chant even other traditions, other names of God. No. They have to chant the names of God, and they have to clean their relationship with God. Srila Prabhupada said, I didn't want to change anybody's religion. I wanted to give them an understanding what is Dharma, so that they clean up their act. And of course, because religion is not practiced very seriously, then many people took up Krishna consciousness because it's so sweet, so nice, bhajan, prasadam. I mean, after you know it, then you don't want to see something else, you know. But that is by the higher taste. Prabhupada gave us the higher taste, so he didn't leave us with a nothing. He didn't tell us, give up your tradition. I mean, we talk about Lord Jesus. We don't have to talk about him, but the basic principle of 10 Commandments, you must have heard about them, they're Dharma. They're Dharma, they're the same things. So in that sense we say, okay, Jesus is also okay. If you follow his codes, then you will also respect Dharma. So in that sense we are not on a trip of converting anybody to anything. But we want to get people to chant the names of the Lord so that they will get some purification. Because when you chant the names of the Lord, a change of consciousness takes place. I think you must have even experienced that in Umea when you come and sing here with Anubhav and Manashiksha. You must have experienced that this gives another joy to life, another thing. Otherwise you wouldn't come here. Otherwise you would be going to cinema, doing something like that. But there is something, and this chanting is much more powerful than you imagine. It is one of the offenses of the holy name to think that I can understand the power of the name of God. Power of the name of God you can only understand by the story of Valmiki. Do you know the story of Valmiki? Yes? Valmiki was a robber. He was a killer. He would rob and kill people. And one day, as he was in the forest waiting for people to come through to attack, you know, many people do that nowadays, but even that time he was doing. Can you imagine, no? So Narada Muni is coming through his forest, and Valmiki jumps in front of him. Stop! Give me everything you have, or I will kill you. Narada Muni looks at him. He says, what are you doing? He says, I'm working. What? You are working? What are you doing? Can't you understand what trouble you get for that? Tell me honestly. For who are you doing this? Valmiki was shocked. People don't talk philosophy to robbers usually, no? I'm doing that for my wife. Oh, you're doing this for your wife? You think she loves you? Of course she loves me. What you're talking? Huh? You don't know. I'll kill you right away. You're insulting my wife. I can prove it to you. Valmiki said, you can prove it to me? Yes, very easy. So how are you going to prove it to me? He said, well, why don't you go home and ask your wife that you're killing and robbing people here, and you're going to get sinful reactions for you for that, but because you do that, you love her so much that surely she loves you also. She'll also take 50% of the reactions since she's your wife, so she share the good and the bad as well, no? Yeah. And when she say no, you can understand she don't really love you. She's just taking all the money. Valmiki his mind was blown. He said, I'll try it out, and I tie you here. I tie you here on a tree, and if you lie to me, I kill you. Take your Veena away. Huh? So he ties Narada Muni to a tree. Can you imagine what a rascal? He ties him to a tree, and he runs home. Dear wife, I have come with a question. Oh, you came so early. Did you get something so quick? Yes, I got something very important. What did you get? I got a question. Really? A question? It's very strange. What question you have? Mama. Do you love me? Oh, husband. Stupid question. Of course I love you. What do you think? Okay, another question. I heard that because I'm taking things away from people, you know, and bringing to you, that I may get some reaction. And I wondered whether you would be ready to help me, like half of the reaction for you, because, you know, I get these. I've looked at him. What? Just because you can't get an honest job? Just because you're doing all this nonsense there, and then you want me to suffer for that? I'm just simply your wife here and doing my housework. No, you can't expect that from me. That's not fair. Valmiki. She don't love me. I'm doing this for her, and she don't want to do for me. No. He said, okay, I'm going. So going back to the forest, he unties Narada Muni. He says, Swamiji, you have just opened my eyes. I've done so many sins. What is my chance? What is my hope? Is there any hope? Can I be forgiven? Narada Muni says, oh, I can see you are intelligent. Then let me ask you a question. Can you chant the names of God? God? Who's God? I don't know about any God. No, I cannot chant the name of God. I don't know. Narada Muni says, this guy is really dull-headed. He said, okay, let me try another one. Do you know what's death? Oh yes, I know what's death very well. Can you chant the name of the death of? He says, yes, I can do that. Okay, then I will initiate you into the name Mara. Mara means death. You chant Mara, and then you will get all forgiveness for your sinful activity. But don't do any more nonsense. Your wife has enough money in the home, just leave her there with all that, and you stay here and you become a meditating monk. So Valmiki said, Guruji, you just initiated me, you are now my master, and I will certainly chant the name of death and will hope to get some purification. So Narada Muni goes on, and Valmiki sits down and he starts Mara, 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 Mara. And he's chanting Mara, 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 Mara. Without even knowing, he's chanting the names of God. He falls into trance. The chanting of Lord Rama's name is turning him into trance. And he is going on and chanting and chanting and chanting. And he's losing his external consciousness. 60,000 years later. You know, that was other days of other time calculation. Satya Yuga, no? 60,000 years later, Guruji comes again to the place, this time with Angira Muni, a friend of his. They're traveling together. Sometimes sadhus like to travel together for sadhu sangha. Then Narada says, you know, I left a disciple here 60,000 years ago. I wonder how he's doing. It was a funny story how he got the initiation. Really? I want to meet him. Well, it was around here. I don't know. Do you see anybody? I don't see anybody. Well, listen carefully. Be quiet. And they hear Rama, 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 Rama. So where's this sound coming from? They're looking, listening. It's coming from a big termite hill. Somebody inside chanting. So they're taking something, they're opening the termite hill, and there in the middle of it sitting Valmiki. Rama, 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 in total absorption. When he sees the light, he hears the voices, he sees his Guru. So, Guru Deva, you come to visit me. And he throws himself at the feet of Narada Muni. And then he's saying, Guruji, I have had so many thoughts in my meditation. Can you please give me one special service I want to do? Now I can understand what is devotional service. Before I had no idea. I didn't even understand what is Rama, the Lord of my heart. And Narada says, okay. Your service will be to write down all the Leela of Lord Ramchandra. And he wrote Valmiki Ramayana before Lord Rama came to this world. He could see all the Leela. They appeared within him. When you're in contact with Krishna, he can tell you anything he wants at any time. So this is the power of the holy name. You cannot imagine what transformation it can cause. So this is what we have to tell the people. Some other chant the holy names of the Lord. And at least join the spoon revolution. Number 1 of Dharma. Compassion. No more killing of animals. No animals. And you should send a letter to all your friends in India that says, stop this, you don't know what you're doing. You're destroying Dharma and you're destroying our India. Because with this type of sinful reaction, that's why our India is being invaded by all these international interests. They have ruined Africa. They have ruined South America. Now they're ruining China and India. When it's ruined, they wouldn't know where to go. What's left? Hare Krishna. Anyhow, I see a few ideas now. We can talk more about these things. We have 2 more days here. Any questions?
I'm still not sure about why you are not asked to eat meat. Means what is the main reason in terms of God not to eat meat? Or
we cannot eat
only
meat
vegetarian?
because it will destroy our health, it will destroy our environment, and it will destroy compassion. From the point of health, eating meat is totally devastating to your system. The German Ministry of Health went to South India, to a region which is 100% vegetarian. And they were looking for the civilization diseases which are nowadays in our hospitals. They couldn't find them. They couldn't find arteriosclerosis, they couldn't find diabetes, they couldn't find all these modern diseases in that region. What more proof you want? And the Germans are not the one who are vegetarians or want to defend vegetarianism, but they sent a research team. It's documented by the ministry. Number 1. Number 2, the scriptures of love, they tell you don't kill the animals. You can eat plentiful by the vegetarian diet. Number 3, like we were discussing, animal husbandry is really the root cause of the disease of destruction of this world right now. Like the water resources are being depleted. The trees are being cut for growing soya, for more meat exports. The meat industry is doing the worst thing to the environment of this planet. It's all not necessary. Do you know, as to produce 1 kg of meat, you have to invest 10 or 15 kgs of grains, an equivalent? That means the meat eater takes away the food of 14 people. Now the planet is very opulent and certain things are apparently possible, but because you don't see the poor guys, you don't see how it works. You don't see how the banks give loans to the peasants. The peasants have to fertilize with chemistry. They're competing against the big companies. They can't pay back the loans. Then the bank takes the land and the big companies buy the land. Is that going on in India? That's the reason.
Mostly in my state. Farmers are committing
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not only your state. They're doing that nonsense on the whole planet. And they need to be stopped. Just like Mahatma Gandhi, he stopped the Britishers by telling all his friends, don't buy even a needle from these guys. Even if their needle is the cheapest needle, don't buy it from them. That's how he got rid of the Britishers. And the only way we get rid of the nasty abusers of this world is by not cooperating with them. By not consuming anything they produce. That means a lot of things that means. Still India's villages have not seen the super chains. Wait when the macros and micros and all these big chains will move into India. It's only a question of 5 or 10 or 15 years and you'll have them everywhere. And nobody will buy from the farmers anymore. And they only buy from the big chains. It's a system. Who cannot see the system is dumb and dull. Or he doesn't care. And that's one of the problems. Our society is making people who don't care. We have to wake up. And the spoon revolution is one way to wake up. And say, stop it. There's many implications. Organic cooperations, for example. Working with the farmers. Producing your organic crops. 100 people going together and say, we are buying only from this farmer now. And another 100 picking another farmer. And in this way, starting cooperation. And the supermarket, nobody buys there. What the guys are going to do? They're going to close shop. Huh? They're going to run away. Then we can turn the big hall into a kirtan hall. The problem has not stopped. The problem is totally alive. And it's not a problem of India, it's a problem of the whole world. And it's also a problem of the individual consciousness. If you eat meat, you cannot love God. There's no loving the heart of somebody who is eating the flesh of somebody who has suffered agony for that. When instead of that you could eat a tomato and a potato. Or a nice idli. Uttapam. Huh?
God has given all these foods. We have to eat like fruits and vegetables which God has given us instead of non-veg and something like that.
Yes, and we have to organize the organic
I'm a pure
product.
vegetarian. So,
Yes. We have to join the spoon revolution. Actively, dynamically. The majority of the simple people don't see the global picture. They may see the local problem, but even with that they don't know what to do. But since we are having a global problem, we need global answers. And what is the answer? It's the individual answer. Don't buy from them. Boycott them. It's the only way. But because they're producing results, the biggest tomato. You know what Monsanto tomato looks like? It's this big and it doesn't rot. You can keep it for 6 weeks on your kitchen table and it still looks the same because it has genes from sick fish or something like this. Gene manipulation, here we have our experts on this, no? What, you're working, you know this gene manipulation? I mean, they can explain it to you appropriately. There's I read there's 2 types of gene manipulation. One is from a tumor, and the one is injecting foreign genes by shooting inside. And then let's see what comes from it. Huh? It's completely mad. And they produce a few results. And then everybody thinks, oh great. We want to see an apple without one stain. Yeah, but how much poison they put on it so that there's not one stain. And you're eating the poison now.
Like some great things are happening with those techniques, but not in plants. Like even in plants with that gene manipulation, we can't say it is bad. We can't say it is bad. Gene manipulation, it's not bad. But in some instances, like scientists are creating some bad things with gene manipulation. Basically, it's a good thing. Because myself, I'm doing some gene manipulations for creating it like a new product which is useful for diabetes patients. So we are doing a gene manipulation in gene which is causing diabetes. So in our instance, it's good.
But diabetes comes from eating too much white sugar and meat.
So like
If they stop using white sugar and using gore
There is no need
and
to
not
do that.
eating meat, then
Yeah,
we
of
don't
course.
have to manipulate the genes for diabetes.
people don't.
Besides that, you have to confess as a scientist that you cannot control what comes out from that.
Of course.
And you don't know what happens when those seeds go onto the lands
Yeah, of course.
and
some
start
bodies
mixing
there.
with all the
Some
things.
bodies there. It depends on scientist. It depends on scientist who is doing.
No, it is scientists there in the lab, but the business people using it out in the world later.
Of course.
It gets out of your control totally.
To be more precise and to be more small,
So
you're more disrupting the natural working of the system.
Of course.
Yeah.
When this gene manipulation had come, something had happened before that. With that, someone created this gene
And it's
manipulation.
happening since long time.
Yeah, that's what. Chain reaction.
Disturbing the smooth running of
Yeah.
smooth working of the echo.
More difficult.
Monsanto has produced things which are so detrimental to the planet.
Yeah.
Nobody can even imagine.
Just what they need is they want money. That's it.
And Monsanto is owned 90% by the US government, senators.
BT cotton.
BT cotton.
BT cotton.
BT cotton. Is the
BT
right
cotton.
which actually generates kind of chemicals which are toxic to the
That's the
different-
South India
Yeah.
yes.
situation, yes. It's absolutely disaster.
Yeah.
Guruji, people are aware of this transgenic.
Yeah, now they are
Product.
not,
They are not
accepting.
aware.
No,
They're not aware. We have to talk about it every day with everybody with the documents in hand. Otherwise, they're not aware. I talk to people all the time, they don't have no idea. It's just for them it means, oh, modernization, modernization. But it's not modernization. It
They
is
know that they are losing by this BT cotton. Again, they are using. I don't know why.
In some parts
no,
of
no, no, I'll tell you
they
the
are-
reason. See, the reason is they can expect more crop by just planting.
Of course, every
planting
time
this-
they have to
yeah.
buy new seeds.
No, but they can invest much lower money what they invest normally.
and in some parts they are
Even
forced to
them-
buy those seeds.
Yeah.
That's
Of course.
the major
Yeah,
Because
that
thing.
is
there.
as a
That is
compulsion
the
under
important
compulsion.
factor
Yeah.
there. They were forced to take those seeds, and people who have bought those seeds, they are out of money and they are not in a position to pay back the debt. So many have committed
And
suicide.
one more problem
Yeah.
At
is
least that is the
Plenty.
main reason.
plenty, because these poor peasants, they're just thinking how to feed my family,
Yeah.
and they're forced to compete, but they don't know. They have to get all together and kick out these guys and go back to their old system
Yes.
and get seeds from somewhere else, because their seeds are finished now.
Yeah.
Because after many generations of chemicals, then they don't have.
They lost the power what they used to have
Yeah.
initially.
That's what Monsanto is doing. They're taking away the power of all the peasants in the world. They just want. Monsanto produces a seed which resists their own wheat destroyer.
Yeah, actually, what's the problem? Main problem with BT cotton on this is if one person uses BT cotton and the other person who belongs to the other field, if uses normal cotton, the virus and the bacteria which is going to whatever insects, which is going to attack this field, totally attacks the other field. So this field will be survived and the other field will be destroyed like anything. So even that person has to be used this BT cotton. That's what the idea of Monsanto. That's
Yeah.
why they are getting.
Once you crop it with Monsanto seeds,
You have to continue.
you have to continue. Otherwise,
Yeah,
for next
no,
10 years or next 15 years,
The
you
only
can't
thing,
expect
the
another
only
crop to
thing
grow.
for BT cotton would be, the only solution for BT cotton is that the Indian government prohibits BT cotton and files suit against Monsanto to indemnize all those people who lost
Yeah.
in all those years for using that. But they are paying off the government.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the problem there. And you are aware of it. You know what these demons are, but what you're not aware of, what they're doing in South India, they're doing everywhere with other seeds as well. It's the same system. They are not interested in cotton of South India. They are interested in the whole planet. They're buying the rights of the seeds, even the original seed. They have patented over 10,000 seeds. They belong to Monsanto. Many of them manipulated and many of them not manipulated.
Yeah.
They own them. This is just madness. Unless we get a Mahatma Gandhi on the scene, who's really going to kick them in the ass. Sorry to say.
Really, when I was in
Unless we're going to get that, they're just going to finish you off. Like they're finishing off these farmers right now. And they're finishing the Mexican corn growers. And they're finishing the South American coffee growers. And everybody is there in that business.
like when I was in my college, one person from Monsanto company, he came to give some seminar to us. Actually, he's an Indian, but it's a branch of Monsanto in Bangalore. So we asked, as it's poisonous to our environment, why you're selling in this India? Just he answered one answer, just that was rubbish. Like Monsanto company has kept like $1 million on that gene to create a new product. Why we are going to waste that many $1 million? So we are doing it popular. It's his answer. Like,
They study marketing strategies
Yes.
which can strike away any simple professor in university because they're not prepared for it. And if you are against them, you're going on a list and they're going to get you from another side. You lose your job. You're going to get it because they have a big power system. They're already so powerful. They have more money at their disposal than many countries like Germany, I think. Well, maybe not like Germany because it's a rich country, but like smaller countries, Monsanto is more powerful. So what is a little Indian mayor or some, even the governors, they're nothing in front of them. Take $1 million, we put in your Swiss bank, and you shut up, will you? Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Give me the book there, behind you.
Swedish.
Oh, Swedish.
I have the Swedish version.
Huh?
I have the Swedish version.
You only have the Swedish. Give me some English book.
The Bhagavad Gita is in English.
Sri Ramaraj. The art of sadhana is good. This is a book compiled by our Srila Bhakti Paramadvaiti Goswami. He was the senior most Vaishnava present when he was with us. He left the world in 1999. But he was also the president of the World Vaishnava Association, which is an organization to communicate the Vaishnavas in the world for their common goals. His books are very deep. He was a lifelong brahmachari. He never got married. Here he's speaking about taking shelter in body, mind and words, accepting that which is favorable, rejecting the unfavorable, believing that Krishna will save me, accepting Krishna as one's maintainer. Self-surrender and humility are the 6 types of surrender, sharanagati. The following verse comes from Hari Bhakti Vilas, further elaborates on the 6-fold process of taking shelter in body, mind and words. Jiva Goswami also quoted this verse in his Bhakti Sandarbha. Tavasmiti vadan vacha tataiva manasa vidan tat stanang ashritas modate sharanagata. With one's body, one who has taken shelter of the Lord resides in the holy place where Krishna performs his pastimes. With his words he says, O Lord, I am yours, while with the mind, devotees know himself to belong to the Lord. In this way, he enjoys spiritual bliss. This is also quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The devotees who take shelter by completely surrendering to Krishna is considered by the Lord to be equal to himself, that is, most dear. Sharanalanda kare Krishna atma samarpan, Krishna tanre karitat kale atma shama. As soon as a devotee has taken shelter of Krishna and surrendered to him, Krishna makes him equal to himself. Now, this may not be confused. Equal does not mean that he's becoming the Supreme Lord, but means he's getting the personal association of the Lord. In Vaikuntha, there's different liberations which can be achieved. Shalokya, Sharpya, Samipya, Sairupya, Katma. They are to live on the same planet with the Lord. Shalokya, Sharshti, to have opulence like the Lord. Samipya, to have the association of the Lord. And Sarupya, to actually have a form, a body, transcendental body in the association of the Lord, similar to the Lord. So this is, like sometimes we say, a person becoming one. This is what the ekatvam or the impersonalists sometimes confuse. They think there you give up your individuality, you just merge into the Lord, to the effect of giving up your own identity, losing your identity. But that's not at all the idea conveyed by the invitation of love of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Krishna. He invites us to come to be with him. But there's one heart and one soul. Sometimes when you love somebody, you become one heart and one soul with that person. You feel like whatever he wishes, I wish. Whatever he is, I'll defend. So you become one in one way, but you're still separate. So in this way also, we should understand the Lord makes him as his family member, means he raises him beyond that conditional situation where he's now in. He further goes on to say, this is corroborated by the statement made by Krishna himself to his dear associate and disciple Uddhava. Martyo yada tyaktva samasta karma niveditatma vichir kirshito me tadamritatvam pratipatyamano mayatma bujaya nakalpati vai. When the living entity who is subjected to birth and death gives up all his works and completely surrenders himself to me, engaging in activities according to my desire, then he attains immortality by my grace, becoming equally to myself in spiritual quality, and thus able to enjoy the transcendental divine rapture of life in the spiritual world in my association. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's a pretty amazing invitation, no? The Supreme Lord invites us to be with Him in this world, you know? Usually in this world nobody invites you to anything, you know? Maybe the friends for a short while. If somebody comes to your home, it's very nice. But if he stays, then you start thinking different about it. He says, what is he doing here? How will he share with all the responsibilities and so and so? So, if the Lord Himself, God, invites you to share with Him His company in the spiritual world, what intimacy implies. It means actually becoming part of the family of the Lord. This is so fantastic. For most people it remains abstract. They just can't imagine it. That's such a personal invitation to the Lord. Once an atheist gave a class in Calcutta. And my Gurudeva went to hear it. He wanted to hear what argument he's giving. So he said, if God exists, don't bother about Him, because He's too busy. He says, He is managing universes which are 40,000 light years away, existing, and their light has not reached the earth yet. He's managing all that. You think He'll have time for you, little teeny fellow? So you better forget about it. That was his argument. Then Srila Srinamaharaj answered that point. He said, if such a person could exist who has created all that, you think he would forget even one ant? He knows everyone and he cares for everyone. So, in this world, to talk about God, to think about God, in one way, it's just too much, you know? You see, it's just going far beyond us. If we take the Varoha process of our own mental acquisition, we won't get very far. But if we approach in the Avaroha system, where it descends, some mercies being revealed, like the Srimad Bhagavatam is a revelation. Like these transcendental scriptures, you see they're quoting all these sacred books. They're all revelations. They're not saying, I think, I imagine, it could be. No. They say, Tat, Om Tat Sat. This is the truth, that is eternal. That's the way it is. You, shut up. Like once my Gurudev, he said, mind your own business, surrender. You have to see what you have to do. What does it mean? Where is your surrender to the Supreme Lord coming about? That is the only important question for you to answer to yourself as more, above all. Mind your own business, surrender. To surrender to the sweet will of the Lord. What is His sweet will for you? That you have to find out. That is the meaning of your life. You don't have anything else to find out. You can run around the planet and find out how to become a servant of George Bush, or how to become a servant of India, of Sonia Gandhi, or something like that. But this is not the meaning of life. You can run after money, and it's not the meaning of life. The meaning of life is finding out what is your relationship with God. What He wants you to do. What He wants me to do, He doesn't want you to do, because it's my service. And what He wants you to do is not for you, because it is His service. So He has a personal, private service for each and every one for us. And that is how much He cares for us. He's not just generally saying, okay, just be happy and chant Hare Krishna. That's also he's saying. But he's saying, you have a mission, you have a mission. Each and every one of us has a mission. And we better find out what is that mission. And we better dedicate our whole energy and intelligence and everything God has given to us to that mission. Then we will understand where we are going. Then life will become meaningful. Otherwise you will feel an extreme frustration. The devotee who has taken refuge in the Lord is so dear to him that he considers him to be as close as his own body. Oh my God, how much God loves. These are very confidential revelations. This is not the ordinary reading, you know. This is coming to you this morning as a special invitation by the grace of the pure devotee Srila Puri Maharaj. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada has elaborated on this verse as follows. The knowledge of the living entity who is subject to death is limited to that which is perceived by his senses. When he gives up fruitive activities and mental speculation to simply surrender himself to the Lord, then he no longer knows any insufficiency because he attains the Lord. Due to serving the Lord of Vaikuntha, he himself takes on the qualities of Vaikuntha. This means that the Kunta nature, that is the illusory material nature, no longer has any hold over him. In the above verse, the words Atma Bhujaya Kalpate can also be interpreted to mean that such a person attains opulences equally to those of the Lord himself. But however one interprets these words, they should never be taken to mean oneness in the monistic sense. The devotee who has taken refuge in the Lord is so dear to him that he considers him to be as close as his own body. Every time a devotee pays his obeisances to the Lord, he engages in an act of self-surrender. The Sanskrit word namaha, which appears in namaskar and in many other mantras, has been explained in the Padma Purana Uttarakanda. False ego is represented by the syllable ma. The word na negates it. The word namaha therefore indicates that the embodied being has no independent existence. He is always dependent on the Supreme Lord, and his life is in every way confined within him. He therefore should completely give up any illusion he has of his own independent capacity to do anything. Through the Lord's power, there is nothing that he cannot achieve. Knowing this, he surrenders responsibility for his own existence to the Lord and simply engages in his service. The art of sadhana ki jai. There's a great power. It is called unconditional surrender. We can see it even in the material world. Two parties are fighting. They're killing each other ruthlessly. And all of a sudden one of them says, I can't do it anymore. We have too many people are dying. It's not worth it. And he takes a white flag, puts it, and he says, white flag. Unconditional surrender. The very moment the enemy sees the white flag, he cannot kill any one of you anymore. On the contrary, he has to cure your disease and he has to feed you. This is the power of unconditional surrender, even in the material world. Pretty silly example, but it's powerful in this world. What is it about when you unconditionally surrender to God? But unconditional means unconditional. Not that you say, here's my white flag, but. No. Forget your buts. And ask, what is my position now? What can I do? What shall I do? Unconditional surrender is incredible. So we recommend to each and every one of you to take shelter of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda in unconditional surrender, because they will give you some very important message for your life, some very wonderful service to be done. They are you see, in the age of Kali, there is a special incarnation of the Lord. Kali Kalera Nama Rupa Krishna Avatar. Krishna incarnates into his holy name. And he came in the form of Nityananda Gauranga to distribute the holy name all over the world. So, if you're taking shelter of the holy name by starting to chant japa, you will have a great, great inspiration, and you will understand clearly what you can do for the Lord in this life, because it is you and you and you and everyone who has to find out individual, what can I do, how can I be part of the transcendental plan of my Lord. He has a personal individual plan right now going on in Umea, right now going on in Göteborg, and he has a plan for each one who's not here as well. It's just amazing. So if you're walking in the path of the Lord, not in the path of your ego, you'll be surprised what wonderful things you will come to encounter. If you're just thinking, oh, I, me, mine, then you may get some facilities, you may not. But you will not be fulfilled. Only if God's wishes are fulfilled through your intervention, as He has given you the chance, then you will feel that your life is meaningful, and you will be able to take the best advantage of this human form of life, even though social convention may not support it. Even your parents may not agree. They say, what, you want to serve God? You should come and serve my business. Something like that, no? Everybody has an idea what the others should do. But we should find out what God wants us to do. Otherwise, we just remain into the samsara of attachment to house, kin, karmic situations. Karmic situations which come and go. And therefore, instead of coming and going in the material world, you better go to the spiritual world, because then you don't have to go anymore. That's where you can stay forever. Any questions in this regard?
How can we find out what He wants from us?
He's in our heart as the super soul. He will give us guidance. And if He's seeing that you're serious, He will send you to His devotee, and you will feel His protection, and you will surrender to His devotee, accept Him as your spiritual master, and then He will tell you what you have to do. Because Lord Krishna says, those who say they are my devotees, they are not really my devotees. My devotees are the devotees of my devotees. So when you are a devotee of Lord Krishna's devotee, then you can really serve Him. Really, you have a tangible access to all this. Dasha Dasha Anudasa. To become the servant of the servant of the servant of the Supreme Lord. Krishna Himself serves His devotees. So how lucky are we if we can do so? We already have 9. No, 8 to 8:20. Let's finish here. due to lack of more questions.
Yeah,
you can, I think we want to talk.
No, नहीं मतलब ऐसे ही चलते रहेगा ना वो तो हम लोग जाके वापस बनाते हैं.
Want to interact with Konika, then you can talk, come up here and talk.
Yeah, of course. जैसे जैसे सवाल आते जाएंगे वैसे वैसे हम उसका परिहार ढूंढते जाएंगे.
Oh God.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
It will come how many days? From now on?
Hare Rama,
Plates and glasses. Gurudev created glasses. Hare
Thank you.